Good morning, everybody. This is Judith Awesome from Awesome Media here in beautiful Elora, Ontario. And boy, have we got a treat for you today. Hang on to your hats. Grab your coffee or your toast, whatever you've got going. Settle down. You're going to be entertained and you're going to hopefully learn a little bit today as well. First of all, the very first thing you should do, of course, as you're coming into the group, please look up, and sign into StreamYard, please. When you sign in, we'll be able to see who you are when you ask questions. And I have the feeling you might have some questions, comments, something going on here. Now, I have heard it mentioned after the last few podcasts that we've done. I've heard the term pitch fest. We don't pitch a lot of products on here. We have recently introduced you to a couple of deals that Christopher Knight was able to put together that are better than what you can do at Source. And if we can bring you something that is an outstanding deal for entrepreneurs, then it's really in our best interest to do it, to help you along with your business. But today is not a pitch fest at all. I almost feel like saying, ladies and gentlemen, grab your ticket and come on in. This is a circus. Today we have Gavin Nathan. Come on in, Gavin. Whoop. There you are. Hello, hey, Gavin. Judith. How are you?
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are. Thanks for joining in this show. Judith, thanks for that amazing introduction. As Judith said, it's going to be quite a show today. Grab your socks and your rocks, as we would say back in England, and get ready for a hell of a show.
Now, you're not a Brit to begin with. You sounded very British, but you're not a Brit to begin with. Let's talk a little bit about travel, because I know you've traveled around, you moved around. You are a mover and shaker. So tell me a little bit about your journey, where you've been and what you've been up to.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Judith. So I'm originally from the Caribbean island, aka West Indies, as some people probably know it as, Trinidad and Tobago. Mm-hmm. Famous for their cricketers, Brian Lara, and the football person called Dwight York. And I have been living in Europe now, which is good old Britain, good old Blighty, England, as we say. And for the last 6 years, I have been in Switzerland. And I always get asked a question, why Europe? And I say, well, you know those old Western movies where the cowboys make a run for the border? Well, London was my Mexico. And hey, you know, I came to good old London and I joined Her Majesty's Royal Navy. And as you guys know, when you join the military, you tend to travel the world. So you probably name a city, I have been to it. And then I went into the police, where I served as a rookie uniform officer for 2 years. And then from that, I went into the, as you guys would call it, the feds, which is not something that you always want to say on camera because you might be shot. But yes, with the feds, I have traveled to many interesting and exciting places, some good, some bad, and some very ugly. But yeah, that's pretty much my travels, if we want to say that much, Judith.
And someday, Gavin and I are going to compare notes off air.
Definitely.
We could have a very good conversation. Of all those places that you have been to, which did you like the least? People always say, well, which one did you like the most? And today I just thought, I'm going to ask you, which one did you like the least? Couldn't wait to get out.
If I told you that, I might have to kill you, you know, the good old saying. I would say Mogadishu, Somalia.
Oh, well, I can understand that one.
Mog is one of the worst places I have been, and I dread ever going back there.
Now, because of all the struggle that's going on there, or just not a very good place to live? I mean, the quality of life.
Because of the nature of the work I was involved with.
Yeah.
And the target that we had, and the level of risk and security that was involved. It was a really horrible place. Plus, I mean, I have nothing against Somalia or the culture or the people or anything like that, but there's some really horrible people down there.
Yeah.
But I have to say their food was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Good things about their food, yeah. And my
Yeah.
introduction to them, of course, was when living in Oman and having all the Somalians overtaking the boats.
Yep, piracy is a big problem. Believe it or not, Pirates of the Caribbean is not Pirates of the Caribbean. It should be Pirates of the Southeast Asia Sea.
Yes, and but let's talk about then. What about places that you would like to go to? What's on your bucket list?
Let's see. It's definitely Tahiti, Bora Bora. And I think if I got there, the world will probably cease to ever see me anymore. Because I'm just going to set up shop as in a little hut, open a little beach bar, and that's it.
Going to hope for internet, are you?
I'm going to hope that the internet connection is good, yes.
We've got a couple of people saying good morning here. We've got Scott. Gavin.
Hey, good morning, Scott.
And we've got Rick. Good old
Ricky.
Rickster.
Rick Scherer. That's actually a German name.
There you go. And so is my last name.
Oh, is it?
Well, except when I was in the Middle East, in the Gulf, they would say, "Oh, awesome. Well then. That's Islamic."
Yes.
So I played that it was. But I married it and it's German, and that's the part of the marriage that stayed. I can't.
Okay. Well, yes.
So, I was thinking about one of the things that you talk about is procrastination.
Yes.
I think we can deal with that a little bit later. Why don't we start off with, what would you like to regale us with first? Something about business, perhaps?
Yeah. I think business would be a good topic to start with, considering everybody's there. Hey, hello, Chris.
Hey,
good
Chris.
to see you. I see you just popped in there. I would definitely say business today is not what it used to be like. It's definitely more competitive than anything else. It's highly regarded as a not so exclusive club anymore, because anybody could jump into the business, not like the old days in the 60s and the 70s. If you were in business, you were somebody.
Yeah.
And also, people have this perception that business is really difficult because of the whole globalization and competitive market nature that we live in, which absolutely is a load of bullshit. So pardon my French, I do speak French a lot. And I don't mean French in the language, because the one thing you learn with me is
I may be inclined to speak French as well.
yes, I get really passionate when I talk about this, and it's one of those things where I have a mentor of mine. His name is called Dan Pena, Pena. He's actually a Mexican, born and bred. He comes from El Barrio in East LA, and I like the guy a lot because he calls it as he sees it, and he says, we're all for a better word, we're all how can I put this nicely for you, Judith? We're not all of what we're supposed to be. Men have forgotten to be men, and women tend to be stronger than men today. And business is like that. We've forgotten, or we worry too much, and we procrastinate too much about, can I do this? Should I do this? Would it work? Would it not work? What do I do if it goes wrong? How about you just take my little philosophy that I have? So I have a little chart that I came across recently, and it asks the question, are you dealing with stress right now? And it has two answers, yes and no. Okay. So if the one answer is no, then hey, well, you got no problem to worry about anything, right? You have no reason to be stressed. And the other one is yes, and it asks, on the yes side of it, it asks, can you do something about what it is you're going through right now? And if you answers, if it answers yes, then there's no need to worry, because you could do something about it. Okay. And if you answer no, you can't do anything about it, then why worry about it? So a lot of people go through life sometimes, and in business as well, thinking, what if this doesn't work? What if this happens? Blah, blah, blah. And I think if you follow that same philosophy, you would actually get through life and business in a much more better a better way than where we are right now as a society. So I think we need to really balls up, man up, and actually just say hoorah, as the U.S. Marines would say, hoorah, let's go, and just get this shit done. Like seriously, stop procrastinating, stop BSing yourself, stop thinking too much. Just get on and just do it. Don't let fear or anything stop you. And that's my thing about business is like too many people think too much, and too many people stop themselves from doing anything because they're thinking too much and they're letting that fear factor and procrastination factor come in.
I know for myself, and I know a few other people that I've spoken to, I know that I fall into that category of everything's got to be perfect before I start. I've got to get all my ducks in a row. It's got to be well organized, because I don't, as much as I live in chaos a lot, I don't function that well in chaos. So I organize. Yes. And do you have a problem with strong women?
I don't have a problem with strong women, but I will give you some statistics. So did you know about 20 years ago, if you measured the pressure of a handshake, men was measuring about 118 psi and women were measuring about 96. And now 20 years later, guess how much men are actually measuring at? Men are measuring at 98 and women are measuring at 108. Clearly the tables have turned. Okay. Men have become wimps and idiots and soft, and women have gotten stronger. And I'm all for women. In fact, most of the entrepreneurs that I work with, or I tend to want to work with, is women, because why? They take action. They do what you tell them to do. They're ambitious. They know about what sacrifice is, and they know how to feel pain. Any woman that could feel pain of childbirth, she's much stronger than any other man I know out there. And I've been in the military and I've seen some hardcore guys. So I got nothing against women.
I had to do that to you, once you mentioned it.
Hey, that's okay. Bring it on. Keep bringing it.
There you go.
I love it. I hope the attendees are enjoying this as well. Let's get a show of hands. Anybody show hands? Who's enjoying this so far?
Who's enjoying this? Excellent. Whoops. Mary was saying good morning. Mary Sloan. She's our
Mary, hi, good morning. From
our bot chat. Interesting concept. There we go. Anyway, I'd like to know where some of these people are. I know where some of these people are from, but you might not know. So in your comments, if you want to write where you're listening from, that would be nice. Christopher gave us a hand.
Yep. Chris is from little South Carolina.
I almost slipped up there with something else, but I didn't. I caught myself. Marketing. What do you got to say about marketing?
Marketing is
Staten Island, Ricky. Ricky's in Staten Island.
Yep. Hope the weather is better in Staten Island than it is here in Switzerland. Oh, Colorado. Somebody's got my heart.
Oh, there we go. Good, James. Nice to see you in here.
Yeah.
Sorry for all the interruptions, but it is kind of nice to hear from our my peeps.
Well, I like to make these things very interactive. I think, the problem that we face today, and I use this in my mentoring program that I was talking to you about earlier, is too many times people stand on stage and they speak to you to death, and there's not enough call to action or not enough practical things that you need to do as part of it. So I like when I do it interactive. People can ask me questions, I answer it, and we move along with it. There is no presentation, there's no dead by PowerPoint. And I like to improvise, as you know, Judith, a lot. So it's just one of those things to make the participants feel very integrated into the conversation, which is what I like. So yeah, to answer your question, marketing is probably the simplest thing in the world to do. And why is that? Every single day of our lives, we are marketing, whether it's for business or for ourselves. You go to the shopkeeper, you got to convince him that you're good enough to be in a shop to buy his stuff. You go to a nightclub, you got to convince him that you're old enough to be in that nightclub. You speaking on to a girl or a guy on a date, you marketing yourself. You're picking up the phone and you're doing it for a job. When you're speaking to a supplier, you marketing yourself, not the company. You're still marketing yourself. So people have this concept that marketing is this esoteric type, fancy. I got to know about social media and stuff like that. No, be yourself, be who you are, and let that shine, and that will naturally sell who you are. So one of the things, as you know, from my YouTube channel, the G-Biz Life TV Show, people always comment on it because they say it is the most raw, uncut, unprofessional, but very professional, put together show that they've seen. Why? Because I believe in being who you are, authentic, being real, being as charismatic, as vibrant as you should be. And when people see that in marketing, they tend to believe it more than a guy who's, oh, look at me, I'm suited, I got a tie, you know, and I speak very, very, very poshly with the perfect grammar and spelling and stuff like that. And it always, from my background being in the police, it always makes me think, what are you trying to hide? Something doesn't seem right here. So I like actually people to be as authentic and as real as they can when they're actually marketing themselves or their companies. And when you do that, people relate to you on a more personal level. It's a more level that people could believe and understand, as something that somebody could relate to. And when you make it so relatable and so spot on their level, they buy from you and stuff like that. The days of trying to be professional and the days of trying to put things in corporate videos and stuff like that does not work anymore. You got to be who you are and let that shine. Even though I made a mistake on my website, Judith, as you pointed out.
Yes, we've already had the chat.
Yes.
And I know that it's not always appreciated when I point out those mistakes.
It's okay. Don't worry.
No, I know I'm okay with you. I did. I've just put up the banner here for your YouTube.
Thank you very much.
G-Biz Life TV Show. I've got quite a few podcasts out on there, and they're very interesting. I caught a few last night, and also a couple. Is that where your 2 minutes and your 2 minute rant is?
Pretty much. My 2 minute rant is usually giving people a kick of the behind in the morning to motivate them. And usually my topic tends to be this thing about procrastination and fear, because that is the biggest thing that stops us, not only in life, but in business. And if I could get through to at least one person in the world in my lifetime and get them to take action and do something, you don't know what it is they're going to change in the world or the universe that we live in. So getting people to break through that fear barrier and that procrastination barrier is my kick of the backside every morning. And I do other stuff there, but I like to go on 2 minutes rant during the day as well, like I did yesterday.
Actually, I've done quite a few myself. I was also known as Pajama Grandma, and
Nice.
Thank you. Pajama Grandma goes into rants. She certainly does, and it's fun. And it clears everything off your chest and maybe gets a reaction. It is nice to be not entirely scripted. And I've had a number of guests say to me, what questions are you going to ask me? Well, I don't know. I have an idea, but I mean, I don't script things either. That's pretty obvious to the most part. But I'm not here to present a presentation.
Yes.
We're getting to know each other and we're learning and we're sharing information. And I think it comes across much better. And I've been trying to tell people as well that you've got to get out there. You've got to do those lives. Don't be afraid of going on camera. And that's a huge thing for people.
Yeah.
And when we have some of our meetings every Wednesday, Christopher has a meeting at 3:00 in the afternoon in the group. Yeah. And there's still a lot of people that come in and they won't turn their camera on. It's done in Zoom, but they won't turn the camera on. It's like, if you're not going to do it with us, they're missing a lot, aren't they? Don't you think that lives are important when it comes to marketing sometimes?
Yes, and they're idiots. And I have no qualms in saying to them, they're idiots for doing that. You know why? That's why you're going to remain effing poor. Right. As we would say in England, if you don't want to show who you are, then you should give up in business. Then pack your bags, go home, and stay out of the business world. Leave it for people like me and you and Chris and all these guys and them. You can't be wanting to go in business and be scared of talking to people or showing your face and being professional and being perfect. It's this thing called fear again. It comes back to play. It's the fear of making an embarrassment of themselves. It's the fear of looking stupid in front of people. But you know what? I am waiting for somebody to say some stupid comment on my YouTube video because then I get a reaction, and that is perfect. That is exactly what I want. I actually want more negative reaction than I want positive. Because if you don't hate me at the end of this show, I haven't done a good job. Because the problem with mentors and coaches today and consultants is they're too fucking nice. You gotta stop being so nice. I'm sorry. As a coach or a mentor, my job is to kick you up the behind and keep you in check. It's not to be your, oh yes, Chris, you've done a really good job, la-di-da, bravo, Well, yes, you will get that when you do a good job, but my job is to kick you behind and keep you on point. And it's the fear of embarrassment. It's the fear of looking stupid. It's the fear of, do I look good on camera? Am I looking too fat? Is my hair fixed properly? Bullshit. Look at me. I'm not properly dressed for this. This is me on a Saturday morning getting out of bed. So guys, stop procrastinating. Stop having that fear. My biggest message to you today, and we don't care if you like me or not, because my job is to tell you straight. Stop feeling fear. Stop procrastinating. Get on camera. Doesn't give a shit what you look like, and just get the job done. Precisely, Chris. Your face is your brand. Bravo.
The very first time that I went live on Facebook, I had gone live in a group before, but I went live on Facebook, and I had several friends. I can't even remember what it was about. Doesn't matter. But several friends come back and go, wow, I can't believe you did that. Aren't you worried? I said, worried about what? About what people think, about what they're saying, about what, just the whole thing. Like, how embarrassing. Why did you do that? I just laughed. So, there are various reasons that you would want to do it. I mean, I had a message and something to say, I felt. And I know that when they're questioning it and they're saying, I couldn't do that, not in my comfort zone. But I think that there are times when it's in your best interest to get the hell out of your comfort zone. And I'm there also to show, hey, you don't have to have a beautiful face. You don't have to have a lot of things behind you, and it doesn't work. My background, thank you, XSplit. This is not my background, but I think the thing is just get out there and do it if you have something to say, because people will warm up to you and people will start listening.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to that that thought that I talk about a lot on camera. Being true and authentic is what gets your product sell. People do not buy products, people buy people. And when people don't know who they're buying from, especially in today's globalized world where people sell a lot of things online on the web, they've never met people before. It's good to see a face to the product or the brand that you buying something from. And if I went to a store, many times I go online, and if I don't see a video or anything with somebody, I would never buy it. I trust the brand more if I see somebody's face or a video or something like that. And also, if the person screws up on camera, like I do quite a lot, if you look at my videos, you would laugh your pants off. I mess up all the time. I go, oh my God, I can't believe I made that mistake. Okay, guys, scrap that for a second. Let's go again. And people reach out to me all the time and they go, we like you a lot because it's so authentic, it's so real. And that is what sells. And that is what gets people buying. So guys, for those of you all who are thinking about marketing, video is king, is queen, is prince, is princess, is dog, is cat, is every single thing. It's your bread and butter in your kid's mouth when you need it to happen. Put video, use video, forget about it being too bloody perfect, and just get out there and do something. Do not follow the Tony Robbins and them. They have millions of dollars behind them to spend on editing videos. You don't have any money, right? So just get on with it.
I think we're so lucky that we are in this day and age where the raw, unedited footage is so popular now. You don't have to go into the editing room afterwards. You don't have to do all that. We're very lucky that that's the way marketing is going right now.
Yeah. Definitely. There's no doubt about it. And again, my biggest thing that I talk to people about is that fear factor. It's always that fear factor of embarrassment. Would I look good? Would I say the right thing? Those three things are the three things that you need to overcome.
Sorry, I was just adjusting my laptop screen because here I am bouncing around. This is not me bouncing around. I was trying to see if I changed my screen, could I get some more light on your face?
Yes. No, I actually yeah, the room inside here is a bit dark sometimes.
That's all right.
Yeah, we had some
the
stormy
light.
weather. We had to close the storm blinds a bit. So
That's all right. So where are you now?
I am in Switzerland right now, in a place called Solothurn in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
And if you think that's bad, you should have seen where I was living before. I was like a local celebrity.
Ah.
People would come and touch me and go, "Oh my God, you exist in real life. I thought you only existed in the Bollywood movies."
Let's talk about family and balance, because
Ask
that's
me an easier question.
well, I realize it might be a little bit of a sore topic, but it is something that as a motivational speaker, you probably have some thoughts on, and I think it's something that we're all struggling with. Not me so much
Yes.
because I don't have any family, but there's always something to distract you or to that you need to balance with anyway. You can't work 24/7.
Yes. Well, ask away, Judith. I await your question.
Ask away. So, how would I begin to? Is there okay? Let's start this way. Is there a percentage, for lack of a better way of getting into this, that you should spend on business and a percentage on your family or something else? I mean, I'm looking at things right now, and for my balance, I'm glued in my chair. I'm doing all this stuff to the point where, starting to get sores on my butt from sitting too long. And I
Yes.
know that there are podcasts that I want to listen to. I know there are books that I want to read. I just don't get around to them. I'm thinking maybe I should buy a car so that I can listen to podcasts.
Okay. Okay. So, um, in fact, I actually went over this topic on one of my videos. If you go to my YouTube channel again, the G-Biz Life TV Show, and you go under the playlist Marriage and Family, I discuss this quite a lot. There is no such thing as work-life balance. What there is a bit of control in the way you value yourself and your time and your loved ones.
Mm.
So for me, when I was married, my biggest mistake was when I was home, my wife would ask me to come out and have lunch with my daughter and her, and I would be like too busy for that. One of the biggest mistake I made, and this was feedback from my wife, believe it or not, guys, if you ever get divorced, I hope you never have to, because that's a horrible process. But I was stupid enough to ask my wife, can we sit down and you could give me some feedback? Feedback on the marriage was a really hilarious thing to do. And one of the things was, it wasn't because of lack of love, it was because lack of presence in their lives. And even though I was home, I wasn't home. So for example, like a lot of you guys here on this call, you work from home. And if you're lucky enough, like I was, to have a wife that also worked for herself and had a kid, well, a young kid still before she starts school, when your wife asks you to come and spend a few minutes with them, you don't have to spend an hour or 2 hours with them. The work-life balance thing, as we would call it, is just being able to sit down and have lunch with them for 10, 15 minutes. Or when she comes home from work, take that 5 or 10 minutes and come out and just say, "Hey, honey, how was your day?"
Mm-hmm.
Women in particular, and maybe Judith, and if we have any other women on this call, I might be shot. So let me be careful how I say this. Um, Women don't want a lot of time from men. They just want to know that they're cared and loved for and they're being listened to. And sometimes just spending 10 minutes with your wife or your husband, really depends who's looking at this from the perspective you're looking at it, brings a balance, or brings that balance that we want to call work-life balance. And the feedback I got was a simple 10 minutes away from the computer to come and spend time with us to have dinner or lunch would have been perfect, would have made all the difference in the world. So sometimes we get so bogged down because, we got to send this email, or we got to finish this call, or we got to write this proposal. Well, bullshit. Stop it. Stop it now.
Mm.
Get up. No email is that important. Believe it or not, that client will still be there. Chris, you and I had this conversation a few weeks ago, right? Where the client is still going to be there if you're honest with them. Oh, sorry, I was late because, my family came first and I wanted to have a chat with them, or I wanted to sit with them for 10 minutes to have lunch. Any family person who's in business would understand that. And if you don't understand it, then get out of business. Then you don't want to do business with them, because anybody who doesn't value family in a business, when you're starting a business or when you're doing a business, they don't need to be in your life. They don't need to be your client. Anytime a client understands that family comes first, that's the client you want to deal with, because that's the kind of people you want to be around. Because guess what? Chances are they actually do have their own kids. And when you do things like I did in the private jet business that I had in Texas, you would find that people come together when they know that you're a family man, or they would know that you're responsible and stuff like that. So the work-life balance or the family thing, my advice would be take time out, 10, 15 minutes. Call your wife or your husband 3 times for the day during the day and just tell them a joke. Don't ask them how they're doing. Don't say, what do you want for dinner? Talk non-logistical things. I have a guy that I listen to called Maud Fattel in the US. And he says, call your partner for 1 minute, no more than 1 minute for the day, 2 or 3 times, and just tell them a funny joke. Say, hey, I saw something that reminded me of you. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel cared for. It makes them feel appreciated. And that makes a big difference in finding that work-life balance. You do not have to spend hours on end with your partner or your kids for them to feel valued. Just calling for 5 minutes and saying something is enough. And that was my biggest downfall of my marriage.
It's about quality, not quantity. I mean, that's the big thing,
Correct.
And I once had someone say to me, "What do you want? I spend all my time with you." You're sitting on the other end of the couch watching football?
Yep. Terrible.
Spending all your time with me? That's okay, because I'm over here on my iPad playing games. So, look, it's all good, right? If you work it out, it's all good. But quality time. Yeah.
Yeah. But quality times mean the TV switched off, the kids is in bed, you go out for a coffee for an hour, 2 hours, you sit down face to face, not side by side, and you look into each other's eyes, you hold hands, and you just talk about anything and everything that you want. And you do that once a week. Guys, my biggest advice is date night once a week seems a little bit impossible for some people. Impossible just means it's just waiting to be done and make it possible. Get your friends, get your family, get your love, your other, anybody. Watch your kids for a couple of hours. One of the unfortunate things I had in my marriage was even though I lived in Switzerland, I had no family and friends here when I first came here. So you starting a business, she starting her business. We have a young baby. I have no friends and family here to support me. She has limited friends and family, and it was a struggle. But for those of you guys who live where you all are, I'm sure you have family, friends around you. Stop making excuses and just get out there and do it. Spend at least 1 day a week with your loved ones, even if it's just going for a walk for 10 minutes. Take the kids and go for a walk. Forget the TV, forget the iPad, forget YouTube and the iPhones, forget business for that 10 minutes. Focus on your family, because that 5-10 minutes saves a lifetime of misery. And it's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And I could probably write a book for about 100 pages long, or I could probably talk about 10 hours on this. But before I bore you to death, guys, go to the YouTube channel, have a look at the marriage videos and family videos. I'm sure you would enjoy it. It's a good laugh.
Excellent. Now you've got quite a few good videos, and I do love your rants.
Thank you very much. I try my best.
If I was looking at setting up a business, what do you think? With all the business experience and everything that you have now, if you were going to do it over again, what advice would you give your daughter, let's say, if she was a little older, say she was in her 20s and she was thinking about starting up a business? What advice would you give her?
Fail fast.
Sorry?
Fail fast.
Fail fast, because you're going to have your failures first before you have your successes?
Failures is a part of the steps to success. Expect to fail. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
Expect it's going to be a tough road. And most importantly, plan not only for the good times, but plan for the bad times. And one of the things I talk about in my rants is people fail to plan sometimes for the bad times as well, or the good times. And I learned this from a guy called Grant Cardone, very big, popular, famous guy in the US. And he talks about this, him and Elena Cardone. You know, the reason why people fall apart or marriages fall apart or businesses fall apart is because they always plan. And then when they create a plan, they stop it and they never look at it again. So my advice to my daughter would be very simple. It's not going to be easy. It can be easy if you do something that you're passionate about. And also if you surround yourself with the right network. And we go through this with our mentee students that we're going to be launching in Texas soon enough. Be prepared to have a good laugh. Be prepared to travel, put in a lot of long hours into it. But the most important thing, never let business take over your personal life. Because when your personal life is in order, your business life is in order. So you have two bank accounts in life. We all have two bank accounts in life, and we're not talking about your Bank of America or your Chase. We're talking about that, and we're talking about your emotional bank account as well. And what people forget is they put all the money into the financial bank accounts and they never put it into the emotional bank account. So my best advice would be for my daughter is to put bank a lot of stuff into the emotional bank account, because that makes the biggest difference in your business bank account. Because when you're truly happy who you are inside and you're truly happy with what it is you're doing, understanding all the highs and lows and the uglies that you're going to go through, you'll be successful without a doubt.
Wow. It's a bit of a wake-up call to I would think to many of us. What do you mean we're expected to have a personal life? You know, I'm a businesswoman. It's 24/7. Yeah, but I do see that there's got to be balance. I'm learning that.
Yes. And balance is the biggest thing. Again, is that fear factor comes back to play again, as we've been talking about. The fear of, oh, if I do my business, then I'm going to lose my family. And if I do spend time with my family, I'm going to lose my business. Well, maybe try sitting down with your partner and your kids and saying, hey, guys, what works for you guys? How much time would you want to spend with daddy or mommy? Or what do you all want to do for the week? Just by simply asking your partners and their kids, having that conversation with them and asking them what is important to them is a very, very good thing for getting the answers that you want, to finding that work-life balance.
And that's something I wouldn't necessarily think of asking them, and yet that's a pretty obvious choice, but not something we think of. Gavin, you've had a lot of businesses and done a lot of things. Why don't you tell us about some of your businesses?
Okay, so I started my career in business, I would say, from the age of probably 7 years old. And at that time, I actually didn't know what it is I was doing. Like many people who are successful in business today, they hear the stories. In this sense, I am no different to anybody else. So when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I was going to primary school, and I found a love for bicycles. And I knew people who wanted to buy bicycles. I knew people who were selling bicycles. And at that time, I didn't know. I was just making the connection happen. And I was making, nice little enough money that I was happy to go to the shop and buy some snacks and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then I also carried on from that. I actually went into doing DIY work for neighbors around the village. So I would paint my neighbor's gate and stuff like that. Didn't realize what I was doing. My parents hated me because to them it was an embarrassment. And Mom, if you're working at this, I'm sorry for saying that. But it is the truth. They never understood what it is I was trying to do at that age. And I never understood it as well. And then I went into high school and I kind of forgot about business for a while. And then I came to England and obviously didn't think about it too much. But about 10 years ago, I started back up in business, and I feel horribly miserably at what you would call a creative problem solving agency. So working with business owners, using creative critical thinking skills to actually problem solve and troubleshoot their businesses. I was ahead of the time in the market, so that didn't go very well. And then I failed at that. And then I tried my hands at a restaurant, a Caribbean takeaway restaurant, which was very, very, very successful.
Oh, really? I hear restaurants are really one of the hardest things.
No, it's silly. You see, everybody wants to make $1 million in a year in a restaurant. It doesn't work like that. So one of our biggest gimmicks in the UK, and when you have a restaurant that is noted to have a drug den or was noted to be a drug den, where it was, the downstairs has a nightclub, which was actually horrible. The wrong people would come in there. We actually, and this was in the middle of winter as well, we actually gave free soup to people to get them into the restaurant. So we had a big sign outside, free soup, no need to buy anything. And people would come in and the food was really good. They loved it. They came back, they told their friends and family about it. And the success of that restaurant was really, really well taken in. And we sold it off a year or two later. From that, then I went into the private jet industry, which Chris knows all about, where we did the old-fashioned way of chartering and brokering private jets. And then we built a technology platform, which took us to the greater heights. And due under terms and agreements and paper that we have, I can't talk on screen too much about it because there were some people who bought the software and stuff like that, and we're not allowed to commercially talk about it. But I did that for about 7 years.
We don't want trouble.
Yes, we don't want any trouble, do we? I did that for about 7 years, and that's the business probably that cost me my family more than anything else, and I learned a valuable lesson from that. And in the last 2 years, I've been working on a marketing business as well. That is doing really well. And now I'm about to launch a mentoring program where we take our students from through a 15-month program. And the reason why it's 15 months and not 12 months is very simple. It takes about 3 months when you start with anybody to get up to speed and really get in a deep and clear understanding of their goals and their business and where they want to go with it. And then the next 12 months working with them on achieving everything that they want. Within reason, obviously, providing to do the work that we ask them to do. And it comes with a full money back guarantee as well after 50 months if you don't make initial investment. So I'm quite excited to be launching that in Texas with a friend of mine, Yasmin, who is Texas #1 tax and credit consultant company in the US, well, in the state of Texas. So we're looking forward to doing that. That's pretty much my businesses. I had a little few preneurs here and there. I was aboard on a few other different types of companies and stuff like that I helped. But yeah, pretty much I worked with a football company recently, even though I hate football.
Oh, really?
Never liked football. I still don't understand the concept of football. For you guys, it's called soccer. We call it football in Europe. But yep, I had my fair share of a few little diverse businesses in and out here and there.
I had a lemonade stand at one point. That was my first.
Ooh,
that was
nice.
my first. And it's not easy in the town of 77 on a highway. It's called Killer Strip, and everybody's going by. So, but I actually got around to making some money, and that was fun.
It's called pocket change, right?
Yes, it is. At that point, it was. I think I'm trying to remember how old I was then. I was maybe I'm thinking 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Just discovered how to make lemonade, so
yes.
that was the thing.
Do we have any questions? Does anybody want to ask me anything? Come on, guys, don't be shy.
I'm surprised there hasn't been very much going out there in terms of questions. Anything about
We've all fallen asleep, Judith.
I'm interested in hearing a bit more about your mentorship program.
So my mentorship program was designed out of my dire frustration for this coaching industry that is booming out there. So there's far too many coaches, consultants, advisors, life coaches, whatever you want to call them, that talks to you about businesses, but who's never made their first million before. Which is great. It's fine because sometimes not financial success is all that matters. Sometimes life experience is what counts as well as part of it. And I am part of quite a few mentoring programs, and I'm not going to call names for legal reasons as well. But I signed up to programs, and what was being delivered in the programs was very simple. Well, log into my membership area, look at these videos, and you'll get rich. Or come to one of my events, and I'm going to bore you to death on stage for 6 hours with me speaking on stage about sales and marketing or negotiations. That's bullshit. I believe people's success is going to come from learning something and actually implementing it. So when I designed the program, it was very much hands-on for the customer or the prospect or whoever it is you want to call them at the time, actually working on their businesses. So the program is really, and let me just pull this up because I want to be sure that I'm telling you exactly what it is the program is all about. So let me just get this up. So yeah, this is what we talk about not being perfect. It's not about being perfect, it's about making the mistakes as we go along. So it was literally designed to help get you from where you are to where you want to go. So when you sign up with the program, one of the most important things that people need to really do in their business, but they don't do a very good job of it, and we as a marketing company or marketing agency has experience with, is understanding the power of omnipresence marketing. Omnipresence marketing is nothing new. It's been around for ages, but very few people tend to actually do it, which is a shame. So people think, oh, I got to advertise on your Facebook or your Instagram or maybe YouTube, or maybe if I only advertise on Facebook or something like that, I'll get the clients. No. Omnipresence marketing is about being every single place where your prospects are. So when we work with our clients, we do the marketing for them for free for 12 months. Right? So we work with you for 12 months doing your marketing for free. And why? Because we know what works and we know the right messaging to get out there for them. And we put you across 250 ad networks. Now, guys, please know that I'm not pitching you. This is not a pitch fest now or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you what the program is all about. Then the second thing is every business really should have a chatbot. Chatbot is one of those things that is definitely one of those newest trends and technologies that businesses should be using, but they're not using it. And I know you guys have had chatbot people on this show before, so you guys, I'm not going to bore you to death with that. And then also one of the other things that we do, and I have found that doesn't happen, is a quarterly mastermind. And the reason why you need to be part of a mastermind is so that you could work on problems, work on issues, work on stuff that is going on right now in your business that is not being addressed by any mentoring other programs out there. And if they are, it's not on the level like us. So when you come to our mentoring day, we actually do a creative problem solving session. We actually do a speed connect session. We actually do something called a beehive game. And we actually do something called a JV venture deal. So you actually find people in the room as well to JV with. So the mastermind class is very focused on you getting the results that you want before you leave on that day.
Right.
Then also as part of it, you're going to have monthly group coaching call, and that is accountability calls more than anything else. So everybody gets on the call and they say, right, for the next 4 weeks, this is what I want to work on. And for the next 4 weeks, you guys send me a weekly report and I hold you accountable. And if you don't do what you need to do, the dragon in me is going to come out and I'm going to blow fire from my mouth. And I'm going to call you everything under the sun, whether you like it or not, because that's what my job is, to kick you in the behind, to get you going and get you taking action. And when you don't do it, I'm sorry. And for the first 10 people that sign up when we launch this, you're going to get some personal sessions with me one-to-one for the next year, which again is to really kick you into the gear. We have the free credit repair service because, like everything in business, people want to go into business, but some people have really bad credit. And we wanted to address this issue because, again, no other mentoring program addresses this. So you might want to go into business and open a small little, let's say you want to open a little bakery or something, or a little stand, or a printery shop or something like that, but your credit is fucked and you can't do it. So we wanted to really work with people as well on that level. So it's not just addressing business or marketing, but addressing the credit issues as well that they face in their businesses today, so that they could actually get a fighting chance of going out there and doing something. So we also do that for free. And then you get a chance to sit with Yasmin, my partner and colleague in this, where you actually, as I said, she's number one in my books for Texas in tax and credit. And she would work with you one-to-one and actually resolving all your tax issues and also all your credit issues. And this is all paid for by us. You don't have to pay for anything when you sign up for the program. You actually get this as part of it. We do a full business and credit and tax review at the end of the year with you, so that we make sure that when you work with us, we not only work with you, but we also actually put you in line with everything that it is, so that the taxman doesn't take a lot of your money. And if you're looking at this, Mr. Taxman, we're not breaking the rules. We're just following your rules, And in fact,
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're a young kid. Come on. What qualifies you to start a mentorship program?
What qualifies me? Very simple. I like to kick people up the behind, because nobody wants to get kicked behind, because they all want to be all fluffy and happy and tree hugging. And, oh, yes, I need a mentor who's going to tell me how good I am. Well, my job is, I've built teams for the military. I've built teams for the police. I've built teams for the government. I've run successful businesses before. I've ran teams from internationally all over the world, 15 different countries. I worked with teams remotely. I've built a business that was potentially worth $20 million up until last year. I've lost it all, and I've made it back 2 or 3 times over. So that's what gives me the right to actually do this. But not only that, but actually taking things that are really affecting people in business and focusing there. It's not about me, it's about the client, and listening to what the client needs and wants to get them from A to B. So, for example, like the credit thing, that is a big thing that nobody addresses in a mentoring program. you know, addressing where are you at the end of the year financially with your taxes and everything. Nobody does that. Nobody does a mastermind class that they hold you accountable for. Nobody does 12 monthly quarterly meetings where you have to send me a report every week, right? So that is what qualifies me, the ability to kick somebody up the behind and go, hey, Jack, why the F did you not do that, right? I'm not the kind of guy you want to be signing up with. You actually have to apply to us. I have to interview you, and I have to know you're the right candidate to work with us. I don't want your money. I don't need your money in that sense. I want the right people to work with. And it's capped about 20 for the first year.
Interesting. Very good. Well, I can certainly kick people's butts. Maybe I should start a mentorship program.
I think everybody should start a mentorship.
Crop out and go at it.
It's funny you say that, Judith. You know, every business owner should be running some sort of a program for their customers, but they don't. Because you know why? Nobody's teaching them to do this. Nobody's telling them they should be doing this. Why? Because everybody's too busy taking in the money.
If you're a business owner, when do you have time?
Well, you make the time. That's why you work with somebody like me. I will show you how to do that.
There you go.
That's it. No, you gotta sit down. You see, people. One of the biggest mistakes again people make in business is they don't recruit people to take on the work. And when they recruit people, they want to micromanage them. Bill Gates said it quite rightfully. You hire people who are smarter than you so that they can tell you exactly what it is you need to do and let them get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your time freed up to work on things like a program for your customers. And that is what people fail a lot in business. It's like, no, this is my baby. If I bring anybody, they're going to steal my idea. They're going to take my IP and run away and do it themselves. Well, let them do it. They're not going to do it with the same passion and enthusiasm and drive that you have for it.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it. If they want to take it and go and run with it, let them do it. How many people stole my ideas and went and did it over the years? And guess what? Everybody's zero, nowhere. So that's my take on it.
Great. I'm interested in your association with jets.
Jets. Let's see. All I know, it started from about the age of 5 years old.
Yeah.
And there's a good old saying in the aviation industry: once you smell A1 fuel, it's like cocaine. It gets into your system and you can't get it out. I've since I know myself from as the Scots in Scotland would say, from a wee little boy, as far as I can remember, I've always been in love with planes. My love is not so much for the private jets. It's more for the big planes. I love the Boeing 787, the 777-9 edition that they're coming out with. I could probably bore you to death on aviation, which you don't really want.
Well, I went on the Concorde.
Oh, lovely. Someone's showing their age.
I know. Hey, can't buy it honestly.
Right.
It's interesting because the other thing I was thinking about at the time when we were talking earlier, and we were talking about is it really going to matter 5 years from now, right? That was the talk that we were on at the time, and I was thinking, dare I say this? No, that really shows my age. I remember having a discussion with Sir Winston Churchill in the 70s.
Nice.
He was the one who said to me, what do you got your knickers in a twist for? Is it really going to matter in 5 years? And just, at the right time, the right place, from the right person. And it really, really stuck with me. And there are times now when I go back and I think to myself, is it really going to matter? Hell, sometimes 5 minutes from now is not going to matter, but you've got knickers in a twist now. And we do that on a regular basis, I think. It's probably a good thing to say, is this really going to matter, and question it.
Because you know why? We're too weak as a society. We're too weak as a world. We forgot what it was to be men and women. Men forgot how to be men, and women are taking control of men. Women are the one wearing the pants, and men are the one wearing the skirts. I'm sorry to say that, guys, but that's just the nature of the belly of the beast that we live in today.
Interesting. I'm being asked to ask you about a project on jets that you're working on. So you're not delivering all the goods to me here, and I'm asking you and pleading as nicely as I can.
I know who is asking that question, and I'm going to have a chat with you after, sir. You should not be bringing that up right now. Okay, so I am working on a top level, high security private jet project with a particular participant in the call, and potentially it's worth about $5 billion in about 5 years from now. So we want to keep it secret, and that sounds strange. 5 billion, 5 years, but potentially once it comes off the ground and we could prove the strategy work and stuff like that, it would literally go like spiral up like that, very very quick. And I'm pretty sure there's people who's already going to be wanting to line up to buy us out. But it is in the charter industry. It's a little bit with the management side of it as well. It's working with the 135s and the 191s as well, certifications in the US. And it's quite a pet project of mine because I do love the jet business or the aviation business for that sense. And we should be actually pulling out a beta platform in about probably 4 weeks from now, if I'm not wrong. And when that comes out, we're going to be sending it to a few people in the industry that I know to get their feedback on it and then hopefully scale it from there.
So starting to gel. Very good.
It's coming together. It's one of my, as we would call it, a mistress of business.
Uh-huh.
See, I like to use the choice of word that gets people attention.
Well, it's all relatable, isn't it?
Definitely.
And it shows us where your mind's at.
Well, I am single.
There you go. Well, hey.
Although, there is a special lady, I would say, in my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did see a lady in the background there.
Oh, no, that's my flatmate.
Oh, well, of course.
No, that's my flatmate. Yeah.
That's all right. You don't need to explain to us.
Yeah, yeah. Good answer.
So, Gavin, we're coming up on an hour here. Is there anything that you would like to share with us before we sign off?
Yes, so much. How long have you got?
Hey, share away. If it's good stuff, good content, we're rolling.
I think my best advice for anybody on this show is stop thinking it's going to go wrong, or stop thinking that what if it goes wrong. Forget about the fear. Smell the fear, touch the fear, taste the fear, kiss the fear, make love to the fear, and just go and do it anyway. And just don't overthink it. And if you have partners and wives and kids, sit down and talk to them about business as well. Make them a part of it. Integrate them into your business. Because you never know who's going to have a brilliant idea. I know actually a guy who's in business, and he was sitting and he talked to his 9-year-old daughter about something that he was having going wrong in his business. And she came up with the most wackiest idea. And she said, Dad, why don't you try this? And guess what? 3 months later, he doubled his business because of that little suggestion from his daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. So you never know who has the smartest idea.
And children can be very insightful.
Yes.
Because they don't have the barriers that we have.
Correct. So I would end the show in just saying, guys, my best advice for you all is just, as Richard Branson says, screw it and just do it. Screw it, let's do it. Or as my mentor, Dan Penner says, just fucking do it.
There you go.
Sorry for swearing, but that's just the quotes that I'm saying. It's not coming from me, it's coming from other people. And I have done really well today in keeping my French accent under control. But no, I think, guys, business is really simple. Find something that you're really passionate about. Find the right people around you to surround yourself in making it happen, which is what that person asked about the jet business. That's why it's going to be so successful. It's something I'm passionate about. I not only am passionate about it, I know the topic inside out. Surround yourself with the right people who know how to get the results that you want as well. And just speak to them. The worst thing somebody could tell you is fuck off, piss off, not interested, go find somebody else. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to you in your life, if somebody says no. And yes, getting a no is very hard and it's very difficult to take. But guess what? By the time you get the fifth or the sixth one, you'll be like, it's all right. It's not so bad. So just go out there and just do it, guys, and create content on video. Don't wait for it to be professionally done. Just be yourself, be who you are, be as authentic as you can, and people will see that and they'll shine through. That's the reason why I know the program and the mentoring program is going to be very successful in the US when we launch it, or in particular in Houston, first of all.
And Chris has got his little sign up.
Chris has got his little sign up. Yes.
So,
and if there's anything that you guys want to ask, now is your chance to ask it. Really, honestly. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You can tell me I'm dumb, or I'm crazy, or I'm talking nonsense. I would love to hear if you think my talk today was nonsense. I'd like to know why.
The challenge is out there. If anybody want to take on Gavin and
come on, bring it on. UFC fighter number 1.
I think we've probably seen everything that we're going to see from my peeps. They're being kind of quiet this morning. They're maybe just mesmerized by all the information that they've gotten there. I want to thank you, Gavin, very much for being my guest today. It's been interesting and insightful, and going to follow you up on your mentorship program because I think that that'll be very interesting indeed.
Yes, and for those of you guys who want to reach out to me, you can. My email address is gavin@gmx.ch.
Just a minute here. Email Gavin
N. So 2 N's at gmx.ch.
gmx.ch.
And if you want to look at the website, it is Luxmark Group, luxmarkgroup.com. And please mind that there is some grammar mistakes according to Judith and spelling. I am severely dyslexic. But then again, I don't really care if you like it or not. My job is not for you to care if you like it or not. My job is to make sure that it delivers the right enough message that you get an idea of what it is I'm trying to do. And if you like what you see, I'm more than happy to speak to anybody on one-on-one. I love hearing from people from different backgrounds and cultures, and I love to hear the ideas that they come up with. Let's make some stuff happen. Let's make some exciting stuff happen.
Here's a comment from Scott. Bonjour, Scott. Scott likes to hear me with a different accent a little bit. Anyway, he has enjoyed this, Gavin. And are you a David Goggins fan?
Who is David Goggins to start with?
Hey, Scotty, who's David Goggins?
Come online, Scotty. Let's hear.
I think that's what he's asking here. Are you a David Goggins fan? I can't think of
David Goggins, yes.
Qu'est-ce que tu veux, toi? Scotty, tell me.
I know somebody else who's on this call that speaks French. You know who you are.
There is someone else?
Yep, on the call.
On the call.
Who speaks French. So she probably understands what you're saying.
They haven't spoken yet?
No.
They're not going to.
They're one of my followers.
One of your followers.
One of my Raven fans, as we call them.
Ah. Would that certain person be from Morocco?
Possibly.
Rabat?
Possibly. There's a few people in Morocco I sent it to.
We did. I did welcome someone to the group this morning from Rabat, and I love Morocco. I spent a year and a half in Agadir and traveled around and Essaouira and just so many places.
What is there not to love about Morocco?
Yeah.
Tagine, nice weather, beautiful people.
So Scotty's back. Wrote a book, You Can't Hurt Me.
Yes. Oh, okay. No, Scott, I'll be honest with you. I am not an avid reader. I'm more of a listener. But I will go and look into it. If you think it's something I should look into, I will happily look into it.
He says you would likely love him.
Good.
David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me. Might check that out. Excellent. Grand. Oh, well, here we go. Rick Scherer. David Goggins is an American ultramarathon runner, ultra-distance cyclist, triathlete, motivational speaker, author. a retired United States Navy SEAL, former United States Air Force Tactical Air Control Party member who served in the war in Afghanistan and the Iraq War.
Oh, might have something in common there with him.
It's on audio. There you go.
Good. I'll have a listen to him then.
There's hope.
There is hope for the afterlife. And you roger that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look into that.
Good that we can hook you up with something too. There you go. So see,
It's all good.
everybody gets something today. Little gift.
Definitely. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. It's not much I get a chance right now to do stuff like this, but when I do, I really do enjoy it. I get to be myself, and people either love me or they hate me. Usually they love me.
I love you, baby. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Gavin, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for your time and all your information. And I'm sure I'll put some links up here so that people can check you a little bit more. Okay?
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Well, everybody. So now that we've introduced a little bit more colorful language into the program, let's see if we can get Gary V on. Wouldn't that be something? Everybody, thank you very much for taking your time on Saturday with us. And if you're watching on a replay, I do hope that you've enjoyed what we've shared today. Not selling anything, a little bit of information that will help you out in your business. Facebook user, nice show. Hey, Scott. Excellent. Time to go. Bye-bye.